Hi, I'm Eric with Rambo Bikes, and I'm going to show you how to build your Rambo bike. This is the box your Rambo bike will come in. Inside this box are two smaller boxes, one containing your charger and the other containing the pedals, manual, and reflectors. First step in assembling your bike is removing the bike from the box and removing all the packaging materials from the bike. The tools you will need to assemble your bike are a 3mm, 4mm, and 5mm Allen wrench, a 10 and a 15mm open-ended wrench, and a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, and some general purpose grease. Whenever doing any work on your Rambo bike, you should start by removing the battery, including assembly. If you don't have a bike stand, we recommend using the edge of the box to hold the bike upright during assembly. Next part you want to do is remove the handlebar clamp by using a 4mm Allen wrench. Place the handlebars into the stem and replace the clamp, and use a 4mm Allen wrench to tighten the bolts down. You want to make sure to tighten these bolts down in a cross pattern so there is equal space on the top and the bottom of the clamp. Now connect any of the cables that were disconnected by aligning the two arrows and pushing them together. Next step, we're going to need the all-purpose grease, and we're going to remove your seat post, add some lubrication into the seat post tube, and replace the seat post. And you want to make sure the seat post clamp is tight enough so it can't be turned from side to side. For this next step, we want to rotate the LCD display downward and flip the bike upside down, put the front tire on. Remove the plastic piece in between the front forks and remove both axle end caps and the cardboard from your front wheel. Loosen up the axle nuts on either side of the wheel. Then you want to insert the wheel into the front forks and make sure to line up the brake rotor in between the pads and the caliper. Hand tighten the axle nuts and then use your 15mm open end wrench to tighten these all the way down. Next thing we're going to do is put the pedals on the bike. They are marked left and right. This is very important because the left pedal is reverse threaded. Start by adding lubrication to the threads on the crank arm. Now insert the left pedal into the left crank arm by turning it counterclockwise to tighten. Hand tighten this all the way down and then use a 15mm wrench to tighten it the rest of the way. For the right pedal, follow the same steps, only turning it clockwise to tighten. The last couple of adjustments you'll want to make on your bike is to make sure the handlebars are tight. To do this, stand over the front wheel and hold it in between your legs and try to turn the handlebars. If they move independently of the tire, you'll want to tighten the two bolts on either side of the stem using a 5mm Allen wrench. Now that your bike is upright, rotate the LCD display upwards and then tighten it with a 3mm Allen wrench. After you've completed these steps and your battery is fully charged, you can put it back on your bike, and now you are ready to ride your Rambo bike. Before installing any accessories on your Rambo bike, make sure the battery is in the off position. First accessory we are going to install is the rear luggage rack. When installing the rear luggage rack on your Rambo bike, you may have to remove 4 mounting screws that are pre-installed in the frame. Next, you will want to make sure that the support legs are on the inside of the tabs of the frame. This may require a slight bending of the luggage rack. Make sure when you are installing any of the bolts in your luggage racks, the bolt and washer are on the outside of the frame and the nylock nut is on the inside, with the plastic of the nylock nut facing away from the head of the bolt. Now we'll install the luggage rack inside the tabs of the frame, and we'll thread one of the 5mm bolts with a washer from the outside in towards the tire and thread on the nylock nut. Repeat the same thing on the other side. At this time, do not tighten the bolts all the way. In the package, choose the shortest set of support arms and find the end with the bend in it. This end will be mounted nearest to the seat. Starting with the right side, we will put the arm in place behind the frame tab and insert one of the 5mm bolts. Repeat this step on the other side. Now we will insert another 5mm bolt, this time in the forwardmost hole on the luggage rack with the support arm on the outside of the bracket. Also repeat this on the other side. Now we can tighten all 6 bolts, starting with the 2 bolts nearest the center of the tire, working our way towards the handlebars until they are all tight. When installing the front luggage rack on your Rambo bike, you will want to make sure the support arms are on the outside of the front fork tabs. This may require slight bending of the luggage rack. Now we will thread the longest 5mm bolt with a washer through the slot on the top of the luggage rack all the way through the front fork, thread on one nylock nut. At this time, we won't tighten anything down, so let's move to the right side of the fork and insert one short 5mm bolt and washer through the front rack and into the front fork tab, thread on one nylock nut. Repeat this process for the other side, and then we can tighten down all the bolts completely. Starting with the top bolt, tighten it down, making sure the bolt is centered in the middle of the slot, then tighten down the last two bolts completely. Now we are moving on to the rear fender. First, we need to assemble the rear fender. Open up the packaging and remove the small plastic pieces. Push both small support arms into the main support arm with the arms facing outwards. Then, using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, tighten down all 4 screws. Gently fold the rear fender down the crease lines and then snap the fender into the main support arm. Next, take your C-post clamp and wrap the strap around the C-post. Clamp it down and tighten the strap by pulling on the end. Thread the fender through the rear rack and slide onto the C-post clamp. Slide the hex head bolt through the fender and C-post clamp and tighten the plastic threaded nut onto the bolt lightly. Now adjust the fender upwards against the rear rack to make sure the tire doesn't rub against the fender. Tighten the plastic threaded nut completely. Next accessory is the front fender. First, we need to remove the bolts and washers from the frame using a 4mm Allen wrench. Then locate the front fender support bracket. Find the non-slotted hole and face it forwards towards the handlebars. Using the same 4mm Allen wrench, attach the fender support bracket with the bolts and washers removed from the frame. Now attach the fender to the support bracket by gently bending the fender along the crease lines and snapping it into place on the support bracket. Last, we have the saddle bag. Orient the bag with the buckle facing towards the seat. Next, on the inside of the bag, open the small Velcro pocket on the right side and slide it over the end of the luggage rack. Then open the Velcro pocket on the left side and slide it over the other end. Once you've slid both Velcro pockets over the ends of the luggage rack, take the buckle and loop it around the front of the luggage rack, rebuckle it, and pull the strap tight. After you've completed these steps and your battery is fully charged, you can turn the battery back on and you're ready to ride your Rambo bike. If you have any questions about your bike, you can call our office at 952-283-0777 or email us at cs@rambobikes.com. You can also check out our website, rambobikes.com. Congratulations on purchasing your Rambo bike.